Hello and welcome to the Advisor Studio, and we're continuing our 4-part series where we're talking about how to successfully pivot from your 9 to 5 to start your business, to grow or to scale. Okay, pivot is simply a turn, moving from somewhere you've sort of exhausted, frustrated, you want to be in, into a space or circumstance that you want to be in. So if this is your first episode, you need to go from the previous episode 1 where I explained a bit more about pivoting, and I also shared about the first acronym P, pinpointing your goodness, expertise, lived experience and knowledge. So in this episode we are going into the next acronym, the I. So like I said, the I is for identify. Okay, so this formula is for people who are wanting to move from their job into business or wanting to start or scale your business. Okay, maybe I should give you a quick summary. P, we spoke about, it's about pinpointing your expertise, your lived experience, your knowledge, because that's the starting point. Full information, like I said, go back to the previous video. That's the starting point. You need to identify your goodness. What are you going to? What's the foundation of the next phase we are going into? So a lot of people think they're starting from ground zero. Oh my gosh, I have to start a new job. Oh, sorry, I'm going to start a new business. Oh, I'm going to have to grow. I'm going to have to scale. But you're not starting from zero. All the people wanting to grow their business, the long way is to start from nothing. The shortcut, the hack, the cheat code is what you already have in my arsenal. Right? So a lot of us have degrees, have got certificates, we've been certified by institutions, we've been vetted, went through some course, 3-year course, 2-year course, year course, whatever it is. You've been vetted by an institution, you've got a certificate to prove your qualification. Just because you're not in your job anymore does not mean you cannot use your qualification. This is what I learned, and this is what I thought that I could not do. And part of it because I was so bitter when I left my workplace, because I didn't want to be in that space anymore. I thought I was relinquishing also my experience, my expertise. No, you can take all that with you into the new space that you're going into. What I was running away from was not the expertise, was not the knowledge and experience, all the 20-year-odd years of experience. What I was running away from, what I did not want anymore, was the circumstances. Let's get that right. I didn't like the ward, I didn't like the clientele. My personality does not work with the clientele I was working with. That's a story for another day. I did not like the workload, I did not like the scheduling. I just didn't like the whole thing about being in the clinical environment. But that does not mean that I have to disregard my expertise. All the 3 years I did in all the different qualifications I have now. Doesn't mean I have to throw them away. Doesn't mean all those are invalid. They're still valid. So you can take all those in. So for someone today, that's just something you need to hear. That you don't have to discard everything. What you're discarding is the environment, maybe, is the situation, is the lifestyle, is the workload, is the scheduling, the people. So, some places the people are just wrong. The toxic people. That's what you're letting go of. But where you're going, in order for you not to start from ground zero, bring all those degrees, bring all those expertise, bring all that lived experience, bring all the a lot of us have 10, 15, 25 years of working in certain spaces. All that experience, bring it in, because that's the foundation of your business. So let's talk about the I, which is identify another space where you could possibly go into. And this is a place where we get to dream now. It's not necessarily that you've experienced it, maybe you haven't completely experienced it, but you begin to dream. Where would I like to be next? Who would I like? So for example, for me, it's which type of people would I like to work with? What clientele? Because obviously the other one, I didn't like it. So which clientele would I like to work with in my new space? So this is, let's put our dreaming hat on, our imagination. Remember the difference between us and animals? We've got imagination. We've got the power to dream and imagine the good things that could happen to us, that we could have. So let's dream in the context of, so we've pinpointed our goodness. So where else could we transfer this goodness? Where would you see yourself ideally working? And this is explorative as well, because it's not fixed. It might take some time to identify the ideal space, the ideal people, the ideal environment. But you're going to have to be okay exploring and experimenting and trying. A lot of us want things to work out and that might happen. But for me, I had to try a lot of different things until I landed into that space where I like these people. I like this industry. This is how I like to work. So again, paper and pen, write down, where would you ideally see yourself working? Or who would you like to be serving? So, okay, this is teaching again. You're gonna have to do some identity work. How would you like to work? What type of personality are you? So I'll give you an example. In my previous work, I did not like the clientele I was working with, and there's no right and wrong about this. Don't judge me, because it's my preference. In my previous job, the people there were not very ambitious. They're not very driven. They're not very determined. Naturally, where I work now, for example, very ambitious people, very intelligent people, very driven people, very disciplined people. And what I learned through the journey of P and I is that's how I am. I'm very ambitious, I'm very driven, I'm very disciplined in the things I like to do. If you give me stuff I don't like to do, you won't see any of these personalities. You probably think Mabel is very lazy. Mabel is not very passionate about anything. She's not nice. She's not driven. Yeah, a lot of people describe me as lazy. A lot of my family members have described me as lazy because I don't want to stay in this place anymore, and I don't like to work in this scenario anymore. But now if you see me in my business, I can work 15 hours a day. I can work 20 hours a day because I enjoy the work I do. I love the people I work for, the clients I serve. When I'm going to an event, I know I'm going to enjoy the group of people I'm going to work with because they are those very energetic, very driven, very ambitious, very high performers is what I'm looking for. High performers. There's a way high performers think and work and rationalize things. They don't have many excuses. They push themselves. They love the challenge, even if everything else is hard around them. But the fact that they're doing what they love, what they're good at. The last time I was interviewing a guy in the army, and all of the guys I spoke to, they personally told me, so if you want to go, it's in my business podcast, which is Thrive at the Top, if you want to have a look at it. The army guys I interviewed, they said they love, one of the questions I asked them is, would you, if it's a second time or a rerun, and you had to choose your career again, would you choose differently? They go, no. And they love their jobs. They would die literally doing their job. What they don't like about their job is they have to be far away from their families for a long time. But that's it. The danger, the war, the danger of being in the army, everything else about it, they love. What they don't like is being away from their family. It's the only downside of their job. And I'm like, what? So that's what I'm talking about, right? You have to be in this space where the thing that you do itself, even if it's in this hard space, you will die doing that job. So I want you to identify those type of people. So those are the people I work with. They're very, very mission driven. They're dedicated to the mission, to the job, to the task, regardless of the danger around it. And what I learned is I love working with those people because there's part of me that's like that. It's what I learned from hearing people. If you ask people, if you're stuck, I guess one of the things to do is to ask your people around you, what thing do you see about me? What's the most outstanding personality trait or character of mine that you see? When I ask people around me, they always say you're very tenacious. You won't give up on something. When you want something, you don't give up. You don't let go. They say I'm very driven. They say I'm very passionate. They say you're very confident in yourself. Yeah, so maybe that's your starting point. Ask people around you, what do they see in you? And that's possibly the people that you like to work with. If you're a very sensitive person, maybe those are the type of people you want to work with. I always like to put it across, compare myself and my sister. And I hope it's okay for me to say this, dear sister. She's a counselor. She's got counselor traits, no doubt. Very soft, very soft-spoken, very gentle, very, I'll say nice, but that doesn't mean anything, right? But she's very counselor-like. She's an ideal counselor. She's that type of person. If you sit in a room, she'll make you feel comfortable. She'll make you feel warm. She'll make you feel that you're going to be okay in that type of way. Me, on the other hand, I'm not a counselor. I'm a coach and I'm a mentor. The difference, I don't necessarily need to malakando you. You won't get that from me. I'm that type of person who's okay, what do we want? Let's get the roadmap. Let's go. That's the type of person I am. We can malakando each other for 2 minutes. I want to hear your backstory and we'll cry for 5 minutes, but that's it. Let's get up and go. Our past is not really a focus of where we need to be going. It can give us information that we can use, but it's not the feature. The feature is where are we going and how do we get there. So you can see the kind of difference. And for me and my sister, we didn't understand each other for a while. Sometimes she thinks I'm hard and I don't care. But I care in a different way. And she cares in a different way. I used to think that she's too sensitive and slow. But she's the perfect therapist for a certain group of people. And I'm a perfect therapist for a certain group of people. We're both therapists, but we work differently. So when you identify the I, it's which type of people would you rather work with? Which type of environment would you rather work with? I don't want to work with sick people. Don't judge me. Because they need the type of care that I don't have within my character and my personality. I can adapt it, and I did it for a while, but it's not sustainable for me. We talk about sustainability. How long can I work like this? And to not get burnt out and to not lose your brain and to lose your well-being within spaces, you need to look for sustainable ways of working. And the most sustainable way of working for yourself is working in line with your personality, your temperament, and your whole being. If I'm going to go against my personality and my character, that's going to burn me out. I'm not going to be doing that for too long. I'm going to be frustrated. That's going to start affecting my well-being. So a lot of us, we're burnt out not because we're doing too much, it's because we're doing the wrong thing. That's what I did in my business. In my job, I was doing the wrong thing. And that burns you out. So all about longevity, sustainability. Some of us need to find the right spaces that fits our personality and our temperament and our character. Okay, so who am I? How do I like to work? How do I talk? How do I feel? So I gave you this the description between me and my sister. If you meet us, maybe you can immediately identify that. But that's how we work. Is that wrong? No. We just two people work differently. And are they ideal people for us in our different spaces? Of course they are. We're both therapists, like I said, but we operate completely different, and our target audience are completely different. A target audience that needs this type of approach, and the audience that needs this type of approach, we both coexist in the world. And some of us, we think we need to design a business that is so different. No. Where can you coexist with who you are and what you have and make impact in business out of that? That's what we're talking about here. So paper and pen, start writing down, what am I like? How do I like to work ideally? And I told you we're doing our imagination here, because maybe sometimes we've never done this before. So we're going to put, just because you haven't done something before doesn't mean we can't think it, we can't feel it, we can. How do I know? Because you can close your eyes. I can ask you to close your eyes and imagine you're at the beach. You're going to start feeling the hot weather. You're going to start feeling the sand on your feet. You're going to start feeling the sun, maybe some good music. You're going to start hearing the water, but you're not there. So I want you to start thinking about which clients would you ideally serve? Which people would you love to serve? Based on the way I work, the way I think, the way I talk, the way I see things. I'm very good at systems. I'm good at frameworks. So I need to go in a space that requires new system design. I need to go in a space that wants new frameworks of working. I need to just go into a system and identify what's not working and give them a formula of how to do it. And I know it sounds like a lot, but I have done the work, so I'm shortcutting your work. So if you work with me, right, you don't have to go through this. For me, this is probably 10, 15 years of figuring things out, but you don't have to take 10, 15 years. I'm giving you the framework, okay, of how you can do this. So I'm shortcutting your life journey. That's the difference between you and me. I'm giving you the formula. And if you want to go even faster, you can sign up to my coaching and I can help you design your life again. So that's the I, is identifying which spaces we would like to work with. I knew some of us, the starting point is, what do you not like? So I don't like helping the sick because they require something I don't have. And there's no judgment. Be okay saying things like that. For a while I thought, I can't think like that. Makes me not a nice person. No, it doesn't, because there are a group of people that can serve those people. And I'm designed and alive in this time to serve a certain group of people that need my frameworks and my IP and my systems thinking and my hard-drivenness and my no-nonsense persona and my driven and my vision. I see the bigger picture. There's a space for me, but there's a space for you with your personality, with your traits and your character. Okay, so maybe some of you, the starting point is, what do you not like? And then what would you ideally like to work in? What environment, what circumstances, what people, what industries? Yeah, that's a good one. What industry would you like to work in? Corporate? Retail? Education? So think about that. What, even when I go retail, you can even pick that down even further. Clothes, food, shoes, fashion. What type of fashion? Sports? Corporate? Shoes, you can have trainers, you can have fancy shoes, heels. You can go down to as minute as possible. So dream and don't be afraid to explore and go in. You're just going in your mind. So there's no failure, okay? Everything's in your mind, okay? But I want you to write it down. This is what I'm saying, write it down, because by the time we get to the last acronym of the framework, the T, we're going to try and put this all together. Okay, and I'll keep making reference to my stories and to my lived experience of the way I've worked with people. Recently, what I discovered with one lady I was working with is she always does things around ministry. She always does things around church, but she works in a separate job that's got nothing to do with church. And now she's trying to redesign her life, she's trying to make this pivot. And I told her that, you know what, why don't you start a business around ministry? Because that's your thing. She loves prayer, she loves intercessing, she loves serving, she loves the whole pastoral space, you know, she loves the gathering of people to do ministry work. You know, if you're a person of faith, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is what I can see that in her. That's her thing. So I said, well, why don't you start something within the ministry? Maybe you start serving people in the ministry. Or to whatever level you decide to do that, but maybe you're meant to serve people in ministry. You've got the understanding, you're a person of faith, you're already doing it, you've done it with other people's ministries, so now she's got the expertise there. That's the knowledge and the lived experience. So she's got all this, but on top of that, she's got this expertise, the knowledge and the lived experience. And then she can take it into the ministry mode. So that's an example. So remember, put your P, you know your P now, but now you're looking at it as where could I possibly go? Who do I like to work with? Which industries would I like to go in? So don't think so much now about, I can't, and who am I to dare to think this? We're human beings. The difference between us and animals, we can imagine. I just want us to use the power of imagination right now. So I'm going to end here. Hopefully this has helped. Again, let me know what's resonated, what's excited you, what's made you go, I don't know. Let me know about those things too. Okay, put them in the comments or send me a DM and we can work it out. Like I told you, right now, sort of maybe doesn't make sense because it's a puzzle. We're putting the puzzle together. You know, when you start a puzzle, a lot of things don't make sense yet. That's where we're at. We're only on the I. Next time, we're going to be talking about the V, which is value. Okay? We're going to be talking about the value. So we've got pinpoint, identify, and next time we're talking about value. Take care, stay open, and explore.